Recording. Right, so welcome to the Bear Tiger Pod. I'll do some intros. Sipping on the beer down the end there. James Slate. How are you, mate?
Pleasure to be here.
Mark Raven.
Hello.
And Joshua White.
Yo, yo.
So we've had a nice little day. We had a little on-course challenge. How did you guys feel like it went?
Terrible. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
So the challenge was, it was kind of the first day filming for our upcoming YouTube channel. And we decided to do a Texas scramble. And the challenge was to shoot 6 under for 6 holes at Kingswood Golf Club. And it's probably safe to say it got off to a slow start with a drivable par 4 where we made par.
Yeah, I think we went out the doors a bit early. I think we should have gone with 4, and if we got 6, it was like really good.
Yeah, well, we were professional golfers. We should
I know.
step up. I went first, went safe with the hybrid and wanged it out of bounds. Laid the pressure on to everybody else. And then we did kind of get a little bit of momentum up.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, then we stumbled again at the third. We were all missing the green at the par 3.
Third was a tough hole today, though.
Yeah, it was. Did get a little slow out there. And then birdie, good drive down the par 5. Probably worth noting that Josh really stepped on one down the par 5.
Here we go.
And we come off the tee, he goes, yeah, I've got that one. That's going to be miles down there. And then he was about 40 yards behind me.
Yeah, but why? Why, Zane?
Why? I don't know. Maybe you've not been playing very much recently.
Yeah,
you've not quite got it like you used to.
That big yellow mark on my ball.
But he was 10 yards still in front of
Wonder
me.
why.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to take something from that, I guess.
So then
I'm proud of you, mate.
So we finished, 4 under for the 6 holes?
4 under.
So the good thing is we've, on that challenge series, we started really low and slow, so it can only get better from that point. Should we just have a little tot up of the numbers for the shots, of how many shots counted per person? I think that's also worth revisiting. It's been a very good day for me today.
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah, Nigel, you had the numbers. What were the numbers?
I do. There were a couple of times in the past we didn't count them because you all had them.
Okay, yeah. So tap-ins we didn't count.
The main shots that counted.
Main shots counted.
I think Zane, you contributed 5.
Think.
I
So, Zane 5.
contributed 5.
Think.
Yeah, I was here.
Oh.
Accurate my stats. It was 5.
So, Zane 5.
Josh was 4.
Joshua was 4.
Yeah.
Mark was 3.
Mark Raven was 3.
A contribution at very least.
And did you have a 4th one?
He did turn up. Come on, James.
Wow.
James, how many did you contribute on?
Well, I hit every single shot you hit. You just only chose to take 2 of mine.
Oh, he's a bit bitter, isn't he? It was. You saved us on the par 3 because we were all over the place. You managed to hit the fringe there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That was very helpful. And we did also roll into another challenge at the end, which we'll get to at the end of the podcast. Sadly, not giving anything away, Mark. Okay, so we're going to have a little roundup of this week's golf tournaments that we've watched on television. We had the PGA Tour at the Travelers Championship. Then we had the BMW International in Germany on the DP World Tour, and then there was a women's major, the KPMG. So let's start with the PGA Tour event. It was an interesting one. The week after US Open, good golf course, which it's kind of got to be a good golf course the week after a major. Otherwise, good players don't turn up, and it's can lose a bit of interest. But it was an interesting tournament. Xander Schauffele was the eventual winner. Good to see him get his first individual win this year, because he did win with Patrick Cantley at the Zurich Classic in the pairs event, which, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think does that count as a real win? It does go down as a count as a real win, but what's your takes on that?
And I don't think he'd won since the Olympics before that, had he? He's had quite a long break from the winner's circle, even though he's had buckets of top 5s and 10s.
I think 2019 was probably his last win, and then he obviously gold medal, didn't he?
Yeah.
But what's your take on the is the pairs event a real win? Josh, go on.
Yeah, I'd say it is. I would say it is. I think, does it go down on the stats on the PGA Tour as a win?
It does, yeah. It's a full win, gets full points, money.
Yeah, I
everything.
think it does. I don't know if you're talking to your pals or if you're doing an interview with someone or something like that, and someone says, "How many wins have you got?" Do they include that? It's a tough one.
Yeah,
isn't
Yeah.
it?
So what would you do?
Yeah,
What would you do?
I would include it 100%.
You'd take it.
Definitely. It's all
Win's a win.
field's the same. Definitely, the field's the same, even though you're pairs.
Mm.
still the top players in the world, and you still got the ball in first, didn't you?
Yeah, challenge. James?
Yes, a win, 100%.
Yeah, well, I'm not having it. It's not a real win. You got a partner, you could duff it down the last, and your partner gets you out of jail. It's obviously it's a really nice week, isn't it? But I don't know.
But did they win that event?
It doesn't have the same feel as a real PJ Tour win. You wouldn't, if you had to choose, you'd choose to win on your own.
Oh yeah, I think
of course.
yeah.
But no, everyone their own opinion. It's cool, but you don't have to agree. That's cool. That's cool. So so I don't know. Did anybody watch it? I was watching it because I was obviously covering the event. So I've got all the ins and outs. So I'm going to put it on you guys. I'm going to say you probably didn't watch it. I don't know.
I watched a little bit of it. I watched actually the main part of what I watched during the week was Rory when he made the turn and it started to go wrong for him. And so I stuck on that for sort of 3 or 4 holes, and that was strange. I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen Rory play some funny golf, but that was definitely that sort of 3 or 4 hole period where he made the couple of doubles.
He made the 8.
No, sorry, he made a quad. Yeah, he made a quad.
Is this in the third?
That was the second round. So the back 9 of the second round, he was flying. He was 3, maybe 4 ahead when he made the 8.
Yeah, after shooting a 62 in the first round.
Yeah. So flying, and then
was he leading or was someone 9?
He was tied to the lead.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he made the 8.
No, because he shot 8 under this past.
Sorry,
seven,
after the first round.
Yeah, 262 in the first round.
Yeah. But second round, absolutely flying, 4 clear, and then quad, and then
the following round he had a bucket of doubles, didn't he? He had a couple of doubles, didn't he?
On the back 9 on the second round, he had a quad on 12, I think it was, around there, and then followed that with a double a couple of holes later, and then had a very quiet weekend.
But I think the Saturday, didn't he have a load of bogeys but still shoot level or something?
He did. He was still in contention on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Needed to get off to a fast start, and then he got to the second hole, which is kind of drivable for him, and he hit like a necky pulley driver that hit the tree like 60 yards off the tee, dropped down in the heavy rough, then fatted it left, and then into another bad spot, then hacked it out, and then he ended up making quite a good double in the end.
Right.
And obviously for someone like Rory, he likes to really get on it and go after it, and that's not the start he's looking for. And also, he's had a busy few weeks.
I was going to say, do you think he gets too much stick?
I think, he's been playing really well for a while.
Yeah.
He won. Then he kind of, he was in the mix a bit at the US Open. And then on top of that, off the course, he's really the talisman spokesman for the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And he's taking all that heat. There's an argument to say that he's kind of been doing the PGA Tour commissioner's job, dealing with the press. And
throughout that as well, obviously Scheffler's been number 1. He's quite a way clear now, but he's climbed up to number 2 in the world, hasn't he, throughout all of that period where he's been under the spotlight.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rory is the second out of all the 4 majors. I think Fitzpatrick was first, was he not? And then Rory was second for the lowest scores. So
and I think that from watching the golf, it just kind of weighed on him that he just looked out of energy, really. I don't think it's anything to worry about coming up to the Open Championship at St Andrews. I think he just needs like 2 weeks off.
Is he playing Scottish or is he bombing it?
I would say you would be. I don't know. I would say you probably will support it because that has been, which we'll get onto in a second. That's really been decimated that field just recently. So so it was good to see Xander Schauffele win again. What do you guys?
He's a top player, actually. I think I think he's always in contention, isn't he? He just doesn't maybe win enough, but I think it's good that he does win because he's that good.
he took a long time this week, I thought. It was quite hard. He took quite a bit of time over his shots.
His process and his putting
He
is
did
really
that.
long.
You're right, Josh, and he did that when they really highlighted that when he played with Cantlay, because like when you are playing in a pairs event, you
Cantlay's slow.
Yeah, and they really hammered their group because they took their processes and stuff. You should be quicker because your partner's already shown you a line or you're talking. But
slow play was a real feature of the weekend.
It
as
was.
you'll probably cover later on.
But Cantlay and Schauffele played together for the last 2 rounds, and they weren't too bad. But yeah, Xander Schauffele processes over his putting are really slow. But he's actually worth looking up at. His coach, Derek Ueda, who I know from back in the day, Asian Californian guy, he's his putting coach. And if you get a chance, go to his Instagram, Derek Ueda Golf, and you'll see him in his garage with all these top PGA Tour stars. It's fascinating. He coaches all putting on a putting mat in his garage, with his like net in the background and like with all his toolboxes and whatever. It's a worthwhile follow. He's a good guy. So yeah, it was good to see Xander win again. moving on to the BMW International playoff between Thomas Peters and Hao Tong Lee. It's good to see Hao Tong win again. He's had a tough time, hasn't he?
Some celebration on the last. That was pretty cool. Seeing the emotion.
And did you see his interview?
I didn't.
It's another one worth looking up. He swore twice in his interview.
I saw the clip.
He's some boy, isn't he, Hao Tong?
He is literally.
Like hobbies, video games.
He really highlighted the depths of despair he'd been in recently, hadn't he?
Yeah,
About quitting the game and
that's right.
et cetera,
I think he's a member at Wentworth, actually. He's up there a lot. If not, he's usually...
You should be pretty annoyed if he's not a member and he's just rocking around hitting balls when you paid all that money to be a member.
I know.
Excuse me, sir. Are you a member?
How many cuts was it he missed beforehand?
Oh, it's a lot.
It's a lot, wasn't
Yeah, I
it?
saw
14, 15?
We played with him. Well, I played with him a few times when James and I were down in Dubai, and we used to play the Lions Den at the Els Club, which is a bunch of good players getting together for money games 3 times a week. And he would come down. His dad would caddy for him. I got to play with him a couple of times, and he's a complete nutcase.
He had some massive numbers, didn't he?
He's great fun, and he's like a child, really, just messing around all the time. And his dad's there keeping him serious. And he's obviously got bags of talent, but he just it was right through the middle when he was kind of lost, and he just hit some of the widest drives you'll ever see. Like at the Els Club, it's about the 13th. You drive off the back of the par 5, that's 13. Then 14, you go under the bridge.
Yeah.
You got that par 4, the 14th. And we get on there one day, and he's like waiting for the green. Like, what's he doing here? Like 370, and he just unleashed this drive like nothing you've ever seen before. And the guys were still on the green. This ball just rolls up to like 8 feet. And you're like, that was insane. That was so good. And then, fine, like makes the eagle. Oh, this is cool. He's playing really well here. And then we get to 16, which is drivable. We know the short par 4. It's like 330. So he hasn't got to send it, but he's just got to get one. For him, just a normal drive. And he just hit this drive, and it just started about 60 yards right and cut about 30 yards, and it went in someone's house. It was just the widest goal shot I've ever seen. I just thought, man, this guy's lost. Like, he's hitting such good shots, and out of nowhere, you can see the ball was going in the air, and you can see he was like, I don't know what happened there.
There was, is it 5, the first par 5? With the dog leg right to left. And if you get up to the apex, you can get on. And someone was saying like he was aiming to take the complete corner off, and they were in his group, and he was like set out to hit a wide, and he cleared the villas on the right hand side. Like that's how wide he sent it. He just walked off the course, I think, a couple of times. But he had a couple of mid-80s, didn't he, in the Den?
Just amazing, really, that he was in that place. Because previous to that, he was obviously contending in majors. Went to that place, and now he's pulled it back. He's seen 3 different coaches, and he's come back, and he's a winner again.
But it just shows you when a player like that, when their game is in shape, they've got the mentality to make the most of their game.
He's been starting to come back this year, isn't he? Like, I think you're right.
There's only been a couple of finishes, like outside miscuts. Honestly, from what I saw recently, I think there were only 2, weren't there?
He got in contention a few weeks ago. He was just like scrambling around, like climbing up through the board on the final day.
Come 14th.
Yeah, and then obviously he started this week -10 and just had it, didn't he?
Yeah, just returned it on. It would be interesting to see actually if he presses on from here. He's obviously changed coach a couple of times. Interesting to see. Now he's practicing at Wentworth, and maybe that's helping him.
I think he's tailor-made player, so he's in the performance studio all the time.
Have you been in and had a little tweak with his clubs?
No, I don't like tailor-made.
Suggested he puts in a vintage red or something like that into his 3-wood.
What's in the
I'll
bag
tell you,
with Hao Tong?
just talking about equipment though, funny you mentioned Thomas Peters. Ever since he signed for Titleist, has been really trending in the right direction. He moved to Titleist at the start of the year, won second week out, and he's been there or thereabouts all this season really.
Been good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Also
Golf ball
seeing
change.
chip in on the chipping green cross-handed.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that just practice?
But still.
Copying Fitzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about Fitzy when the US Open as well, don't we? We need to get on that. And then, obviously, we're going to mention the women's major, the KPMG, which was won by In-Ji Chun, which was a third major.
Did you cover that?
There. No, I didn't cover that. That was on Sky this week. I was working on one of the other 5 companies that I work for on that sort of stuff. But yeah, obviously we're following it on the socials and the bits where we could had a bit of a break, and obviously just following. Lexi Thompson was the one who would look like she should win it. Unbelievable talent, and just has this like complete block when it comes to putting.
Yeah.
She hits it absolutely miles. You can ball strike her way around, but then all of a sudden it gets to 3 feet and
Struggles.
can't get the ball in the hole.
To be fair, she's got that. I was at the Ladies British Open at Woburn, and we was in the Players' Lounge, and when she walked in, she did have that aura about her, Lexi, that people sort of turn around and have a, they know she's in the building. But yeah, like you say, struggling with a short stick.
Yeah,
And it's just going on forever, hasn't it? Like, this has been the story for so long for her. And as the years go by, it just becomes more and more of an issue, it seems like. And more people get on, like we're saying here, like get on her for it. It's such a tough place to be.
Do you think it's because she puts with a glove on?
I reckon it could be. It could be.
I
It could be.
I reckon like when they do the weight balancing of her putter, they're not taking into account the glove.
That could be it.
I mean, can you name a good putter that keeps a glove on,
Chevy Chase.
other than Chevy Chase?
No.
Trevino used to putt with a glove on.
I reckon, possibly.
I think
Worth
Nicholas
looking
used to
up.
putt with a glove on for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, but
Sometimes.
you're going back 50 years.
They're still
Still good
putters.
putters, yeah. We'll be fair to him. We'll give him that. But as bad as she is, she probably needs to try taking it off. But what do you do? Like, I
I
mean,
reckon she'd have an outrageous tan line now she takes that glove off. Imagine, she's been on tour for 10 years just getting baked in the sun with a glove on.
she must have perfect
tan.
skin underneath her.
Yeah.
I mean, have you boys ever had any kind of putting issues where you thought I need to try something different, or
Yeah.
go on?
I hit a 10-foot pass at Wisley for 6 months and you told me to go and get a lesson about it.
Yeah, that was awkward. Yeah, but what was the difference? What did you do to because you're now a good putter. At that time, it was almost guaranteed you'd have a handful of 3 putts. Whereas
Yeah.
now you're a good putter. What did you do to go from being where you were to?
Took all of the technical mindset about it out of it and just went down to pure performance, which was just line length and pace. That was it. And just so walked a putt out, understood how long it was, understood my start line, and just tried to hit it on that line at that pace. That was it. And then I don't think about technique at all on the course.
So you pace out your putts. Do you have an idea of how far away it is?
Yeah. So Jamie Donaldson at Aim Point told me to do that as part of Aim Point Express. So you go halfway, 2.5 feet per pace. So, and then you're thinking 20 feet, you do your aim point, it's 2 fingers left. And then you try and hit a 20-footer on that line.
Big props to Jamie Donaldson.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
But it's good though. But you found a system that works for you. That's it's stood you in good stead for a few years now. You're not hitting it 10 feet past anymore.
No, exactly. I get in a dustbin lid more often. And it's quite quick as well. I think when I was thinking about technique, I was like notably becoming a slow player as well, which is also getting in my head.
Yeah.
Where by now
We
it's
really enjoyed that.
yeah. Where by now it's kind of like really sped me up on the green. So yeah.
I'll just buy a new putter and just get a new honeymoon period.
You just
That's the
that's how you
plan.
roll with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but you've had a few different grips
Yeah, I've
in your
got
time.
claw,
Crosshand when we first met.
cross hand, yeah. But I just think they're things that you just feel comfortable with on the putting green, and then you take it to the course if it works. Then
Do you have one of those grips that's worked better than the others?
Conventional.
yeah, conventional. Yeah, always comes back to that
What is that, do you think?
pace, get better feel.
What about claw?
Claw's good for me. Longer putts, which is weird because a
I
lot of
find that
people
odd,
say it's
yeah.
the other way around.
Right.
Yeah, but for me,
I think it gives you a bit of flow to your
Yeah.
stroke.
yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
But conventional now,
Yeah.
it's working.
And Mark, you're quite a good putter, aren't you?
Yeah, I've never really struggled. Obviously, I've had phases where I haven't putted so well, but I've never been at a point where I've been sort of desperately searching for a solution. That's been more my short game at times. But yeah, no, I've always felt pretty good.
Do you think that comes down to obviously being a very good caddy? Like you're naturally a good green reader, right?
I think I'm lucky in as much as I can read a green. Like I see it, and I've never questioned. I've never tried to read too much into. Like I have done the aim point stuff. I understand it, but that doesn't necessarily work for me. I just see it, and I think I'm fortunate in that regard. So yeah, and technically I don't focus too much. I spent a bit of time with Phil Kenyon, so I've done 2 or 3 sessions over my career with him, and it was really good information. Very, very simple stuff.
What sort of stuff would you have worked on, or did he tell? What do you feel like you got out of him? What made you a better putter?
So we worked on eye dominance and dominant hand. So just again, understanding that stuff and taking the let's say the bad hand or the bad eye out of the equation. Simple setup stuff like length, weight, etc. And we did a bit of tempo stuff as well. So Phil's got this really good sort of LED light and sound. So he like a metronome. So he can set the light and the sound metronome to a pace that he thinks will work for you. And we did a bit of work with that. So I've got the sound file on my phone, and I used to pre-round. I used to just 3 or 4 minutes. I'd be putting around the green with the sound file in my ears, and that was my tune-up really to get into a rhythm. And then that was that. I didn't have the light system because you just can't take those things everywhere. But it was a good. That was good in training when I was there seeing him on occasion. But yeah, that sound file was really good to take everywhere with me, and that really was the basis of my putting preparation for a tournament. There'd be 3 minutes of that. And they're just hitting a few, and you could hit any length putt to that sound file, and that was me done. Really, that was my warm up.
Easy as that.
Well,
so I've got to say, Zed, you're probably the best putter I've ever played with. And how often do you practice your putting?
I did. I practiced my putting in like 2006 at this Challenge Tour event in Manchester, and I just thought I had time, and I thought I'm going to work on my putting. I saw everybody else out on the green, with the mirrors and all that sort of stuff, and I thought I'll do some of that. I've just been a pro for a little while, and you want to you want to make sure all parts of your game are ticking away. And I was out there for like a couple of hours. And I remember Heath coming up to me and saying to me, "You never really work on your putting, do you?" I said, No. He goes, "Oh, that's interesting." And went out the next day, and I just putted dreadful. I just missed everything. And I remember just being so like, what has happened there? And then at the dinner that night, it was say like the third round. And I said to James, I was like, I putted rubbish today. And he went, "That was the first time I've ever seen you practice your putting." He's like, "Can you do me a favour?" I was like, "Go on then." He went, "Can you just never work on your putting ever again?" And I haven't really practiced it. Yes, I'll go into the green and get a feel for it, feel for the pace and that sort of stuff. But it's oddly enough, I feel like I know quite a lot about the golf swing. There's loads more to learn and loads more in golf to to take in over the years. But putting is probably the one thing. I wouldn't say I know least about. I say know the least amount of things, but maybe I just know the right things.
Do you think you're quite naturally technical sound? You're very technically sound with your putting.
Well, maybe.
Think about it too much.
Maybe, but I think I'm in an odd way. I'm technically sound because I don't work on it too much.
And you never change your grip.
So like,
yeah, I was just about to say, I don't think I've ever seen you with a different grip. Not the putter grip. Your hands.
And that
on
grip,
that.
and oddly enough, that grip. I got from when I was 18 or 19. We had England training up at Woodall Spa, where you would have been, Josh. And England training back in those days wasn't quite where it was today, where you get on all the fancy monitors and get the numbers. We had like the best players like in the country. We had 9 of us on this elite squad, and it was all government funded and all this sort of stuff. And our putting part of the weekend or training edition was to sit in this room, and the geezer wheeled in this TV and this VHS machine. Popped in a Harold Swash video, and we just sat there and watched this video. And in that video, he talked about this grip, and I just took that. So it's funny, all these thousands of pounds and special coaches they're bringing now, I need to be just go and get that video onto not even onto DVD, is it? It's on some sort of hard drive somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I just kind of stuck with it. And then I guess from there, I tend not to change my technique or my grip. I'll change putters a little bit like you, Josh. That kind of freshens it up and gives you a new little honeymoon period.
Well, it's annoying, especially when you're playing for money.
Yeah, well, but so is like standing on the tee, hitting a good drive, and you hit it 40 yards past us. That's also
Can't
annoying.
have it all, Josh.
Yeah, come on. So that's my putting journey really. Yeah, that and a bit of Bob Rotella as well. If anyone ever asked me what should you do, what's the best thing you can do about your putting, like go and get that. You can get it on Spotify or somewhere. The Putting Out Your Mind with Dr. Bob Rotella. That is, once you get your head into that mindset, then the rest of it kind of fits in. Because I think there's a bit too much technique goes into putting. I am interested in like the long putter thing. What's your views on the broom handle? Because obviously it got outlawed anchoring. But now Pete and a few players like Cole Carl Pettersson, Tim Clark, who are money golfers, and they
Bernard Langer.
Yeah, Bernard Langer, who were really good. But Tim Clark and Carl Pettersson were really good, and when they banned it, they tried to go to the short putter, and we've not really seen them since. Whereas Bernard Langer's a good point because he just went, okay, I'm going to hold it an inch away from my chest. And he still wins, like, every other week. And now more and more players are now kind of going back to that. I mean, the one thing I can't get my head around, I don't know what you guys think, is that no one's been penalised yet. I can't imagine, there's not been one time where someone hasn't touched their chest on a putt somewhere. Like, no one's called it on themselves of those putts. I don't know, what do you guys think about the anchoring of putters and the long putters?
I think there are way too many other elements to the game and putting itself for that to really be a big issue. Enough of an issue to bring in a rule to say, hey, look, everyone stop. And I don't think there were enough guys playing it and benefiting from it. Maybe, like you said, there's a handful of guys. So for me, there are bigger fish to fry when you're looking at rules and the game in general. But yeah, so that's my. But like you, I've never really looked too much, delved into the putting and why is he doing it better than me? Is it the the putter itself? So
James got a thought on this, I reckon.
I actually haven't, because like working in equipment my entire golf career, from building up to before I left.
Back to the John Letters days.
Yeah,
at Sandown Park.
Pre that, when I was like doing all the equipment at American Golf. Like long putters were hard to come by in stores anyway, let alone being left-handed. So I remember having to go once with a Ping broom handle putter, which is like 45 inches long, and I was like, "Fuck me, this is so heavy. Who'd ever put one of these in their bag and put it back?" And
It's heavy to carry around, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this thing's like a TV aerial. So yeah, it was so hard to sweep the wrong way round. I was like, nah, it's not for me. This.
Not having it, Josh.
I think it comes down to, like you say, you don't know if someone's doing it or not. So a big thing in golf is integrity, isn't it? Like, are they actually doing it or not? So it's down to the player.
I think
It doesn't bother me.
on a technical opinion, I relate it a little bit to the claw grip. I can totally understand, like up to 8 feet, how that style you'd be very, very repetitive. But when you get to 40 feet,
What style? Can you do that again for us?
But I think when you're kind of, was it like the Farman trigger?
Just for anyone
finger?
that's listening to this, James is making some funny little finger movements here.
I just can't even comprehend it with two fingers trying to sweep back and forth.
I think
He's still swinging his fingers around.
I think fortunately we were actually videoing this.
Yeah.
So
You'd be able to
Just
watch
for the
it.
people who are not fortunate enough to see it on
For
video.
those that are trying to learn how to do a broom handle, I've just given you a really
lucky
good tip video.
So have you tried a broom handle putter?
I used a belly putter in the Spanish Amateur.
How was that experience? for you?
Did you make the cut?
I did, yeah. Got through second round of the match play. But yeah, I didn't putt. Good.
Did Monty have a belly for a broom for a while and then move to belly putter?
I'm not sure if he definitely had a belly. I'm not sure if he had a broom handle.
Oh, okay. I thought he did. For
I
a
don't
while.
remember Monty ever using a broom handle.
He was very good with a belly putter, wasn't he?
He was very good with a belly putter. I think he was actually quite good with most putters. He wasn't seen as a good putter, but he held time after time. He held putts in the Ryder
I remember
Cup.
that Ryder Cup with a belly putter, the Odyssey one. He was a joke with.
Yeah, he was good, wasn't he? I actually tried a long putter for a few events, and it's so easy.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought I'd try it out, see what it's like. Honestly, you literally like
Heath would not have been happy with
Yeah.
that.
just bored of
you
being a
literally
great
like
putter.
I just used it for a couple of weeks, and like you just take the putter back, and then you could almost let it go, and it just falls like perfect. And you just strike the putt so well, and you actually hit putts which every now and again you think, oh, did I get that one? And the ball just goes right in the middle of the hole. And I think it's. I'm not going to say it's cheating. It's not cheating because it's well within the rules, but I think that needs to go.
I think I remember that. Did you have an Odyssey broom handle putter when you were a contractor player before?
What it was a really long belly putter, which I kind of used as a broom handle. So it wasn't a real broom handle, but
remember
I used it like a broom handle.
I remember being at Burr Hill. We just played like an 8 ball, I think, or 2 4 balls, 9 holes. You were there, Mark, and in the back of his
You have to be
Scooby.
careful because we won't be allowed back at Burr Hill ever again.
But
It's
we
not
just
playing
played one of our 9-hole money games, like all the old boys. And in the back of your Scooby, I reckon you had 15 putters, all an inch different in length, from about 34 inches up to 45.
You must be. I bet you couldn't deal with that.
No, because none of them were left-handed.
Not
so it's
conforming.
like,
So what's your view on it?
pointless.
I just think that I just don't like the fact that nobody's been penalised. At some point, somebody, since the new rules come out, someone touched their chest or anchored it by accident, not on purpose, and no one's been penalised. I just can't see that being. I can't see that being true.
Baggy shirt.
Exactly.
shirt.
Yeah. Is that like you're wearing today? That you'll be right, wouldn't you? Yeah. You'll be all over that.
Oversized.
So another slightly, well, not necessarily contentious. I think everyone's kind of moving on from it a bit now, but I think it's worth talking about this new series in golf, the Live Golf. You know, they've come in, they've obviously thrown a bunch of cash at it. More and more top players are moving over. I mean, I've got some thoughts on it. But yeah, what do you? Okay, the first part being, what do you think about the actual original concept? And then we've had one event. What did you think of that one event?
I've moved on from our first.
Moved on from it now.
He's moved on.
Yeah.
I've moved on from our first podcast where I had an opinion. I'm starting to warm to it a bit more now. I think they're just starting to attract more and more players to justify the 48-man fields now, starting to look really, really interesting. Obviously, they signed Carlos Ortiz and Matt Wolff this week.
Big signing.
Yeah.
Ortiz. Yep.
Well, he's really trending in the right direction, isn't he?
There's a few South Americans that are going in a good direction, and they're young guys.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on and how well they're received at the States this week. So yeah, for their second event. So, but it's starting to. I think this is going to continue to evolve, right? TV channel's going to come in, but then some people like the fact it's hosted online. There's no breaks. What most people's bugbear from
Free on YouTube, isn't it? It's
from
great.
Sky is like there's an ad break every 10 minutes. So
Yeah, but you get to listen to me. So
exactly.
so you're for it.
It's doing something. It's definitely making a change, and I'm always keen to see.
And then do you like
How
what do you
that'll
think of
go.
the format?
I think that's going to really come into its own. I'm a big cricket fan as well. I liked when the IPL came in, the franchise model, and Mark, you're a big cricket guy as well, like the selection of the players and the auction and stuff. There's a lot of excitement that will come from that. So I think when they get to 2024 and that starts to become a real thing, I think that'll be a really, really cool addition. But the format around the team side of it, I don't know. I thought they would have played in their team groups and stuff, so they've been G'ing each other along, which would have been cool content. But yeah, I think the format's good.
Well, maybe at least start in their team groups, and
Yeah.
then peel off.
Evolve into leaderboard for the final round sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. That I've not actually heard that one. That would be actually pretty decent. That could happen. Well, Mark, where are you at with the
I'm with
golf
James.
series?
I'm for it. I think it's good for golf. I think it's stirring things up on all the other tours. It's asking the right questions. And I think they haven't got the format right necessarily at the minute, but this is early doors, isn't it? And provided they're flexible enough to say, well, look, we're going to introduce this, take this out, et cetera, and it just evolve as time goes on. I think it's going to be brilliant. Whether or not it stays as Live on its own or evolves into something bigger.
Do you know something?
I think, well, yeah, I can't see how it's not going to go that direction, the direction we've been speaking about. But
So what do you think that will be? What it would join with somebody?
I think the DP World Tour has to align with Live.
But didn't they recently announced that obviously they fined their players that played in it, that they went and played in the BMW. So I actually think the opposite. I think DP World Tour might end up finding an alignment with the PGA Tour, and the PGA Tour might try and acquire DP and then make them abide by their bylaws. And then it's like they've got to push everyone from Live to Asia or something like that.
And I don't think that will be good for the game. I think, listen, I don't really know. I think that if Live and DP align, that will... You've got the PGA Tour and that together. I think golf over the next 5-10 years it becomes really exciting because one will push the other. I think if Live has to live on its own and DP World will just the DP Tour will just I don't know how it can survive with the amount of money that's going into Live and the attention that other players are giving it now. New players want to be involved, and if it does event goes from strength to strength, that will be the focus point. I think, unfortunately, what was the European
But that's
Tour
going to be heavily backed by Players World Ranking to give the Live World Ranking points, right? So there's only so many people that can play in a 48-man field.
Yeah.
So I don't think it will really crush or crumble the DP World Tour.
But it won't. I don't know how it will I don't know how the DP World Tour moves on from the position it's in, and it's not necessarily in a strong position. Obviously, it's my opinion. Ultimately, I think Live is great, and I like the direction that they're trying to push golf. And the reaction that the PGA Tour have had, etc. It's exciting, I think, if you have that hat on. But if you're a traditionalist and you want to consume your golf in the way you have done for the last decade, it probably doesn't seem like such a good thing. But I've been out of the game for a little bit, and I'm coming back in, and this is interesting to me. And as we've discussed in previous podcasts, they're sort of using the Liberty Media Formula One model, and that has completely for me has changed Formula One for the better, and I can see how this could work in golf. And I'm a big fan of what's come with Formula One, and they're sort of 3 or 4 years down the line. If something similar happens in golf with what Liv are trying to do, and other tours kind of work with it or support it, however it will work out, I think golf will be better for it. But again, my opinions are my own.
I like it. Josh, where are you at on the Live Golf?
I love the party vibe of it and everything like that.
Nothing to do with the golf part of it, like the social part of it.
100%. But the only thing I'm worried about is the Ryder Cup. I love the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
and I was just thinking,
danger.
actually, like, you don't want to lose the heritage of the Ryder Cup because it's great. But
Good for Europe.
if you had the Live and the DP world align, it would be pretty cool to have a Tour versus Tour Ryder Cup.
And also, the world, if these things
but you won't get the real Ryder Cup, will you? You won't get, because it's not
the history.
But the World Golf Ranking, if they will have to, if these players are moving over to Live, the way the World Golf Ranking will have to acknowledge that there has been a shift. If the world's best players are,
that's the question, is it? They're not necessarily guaranteed to get world ranking points.
No, but would the World Ranking Organisation have to think, well, hang on, you've got what were the best players in the world, now no longer supported by our system. Do we have to look at how we divvy out the points, etc., etc.? And then, the Ryder Cup doesn't have to die necessarily. At the way we view it now, it looks pretty, like it would be depleted.
Then the Ryder Cup is a tour versus tour event, isn't it? It's PGA Tour versus the European Tour.
How does the
DP Tour.
World Ranking points work? What organisation is that? Is that like RNA? What is that?
So the World Rankings is a standalone organisation which is run out of Wentworth in Surrey, weirdly enough, and so then all the tours then have to be aligned with and affiliate to the World Ranking, and if a new tour comes in, they normally have to be kind of forwarded by another tour.
Right.
So you would imagine the Live Tour will probably get some help from the Asian Tour because that's maybe the way they've gone, but it's not guaranteed. They still put it forward, and then they have to make a case, and then they decide whether they want to bring them in as such. And then you've obviously got the other tours that are probably going to oppose it. So,
but they should get it. You don't think?
Yeah, technically after the third event,
so.
they'd start boasting stronger fields than DP World Tour events. So they'd have a conversation about saying that we should at least demand the same ranking points they get.
Agreed.
yeah, I mean,
that's when I think the DP World Tour comes to that's like what we're saying. There's a struggle of power, isn't there?
One thing I found quite interesting, Zed, was I think the tour are being a little bit mischievous in regards to. I thought the US Open they'd start saying to players you can't play.
Which tour?
Well, technically the PGA Tour, but obviously all the majors are obviously very individual, like the PGA, then the US Open, and then which you qualify for. But I feel like they're waiting for the Masters, which is a pure invitational, to like lay the law down for them, because obviously Augusta is Augusta, and about not letting Live players play in the event if they're going to do that or not. But I think if Live players think that they can play the 4 majors. I think then we'll see a massive swing towards that tour, certainly with the money on offer.
Yeah, I mean, can only agree with that. If they can play all the majors, because essentially all these players and the players that are getting paid the biggest money, their real want now is to their record is done on their major record. Not necessarily. Yeah, it's nice to obviously it's great and nice to rack up all the PGA Tour wins, but essentially that's to fill the coffers really and fill the bank. Now that's been taken care of elsewhere. Beyond that, you're only a really great player, or you're judged on how many majors you've won.
And it's not so much like world ranking even, is it? Majors are more important. It's certainly not order of merit wins. We've spoken about Monty before with his 7. He probably would trade all of them for one major. So I think you're right. I think it would come down to if they can play all the majors, still compete there, try and add one of them to the cabinet and get a significant check and be part of this new movement. I think they'd go.
So it's pretty safe to say, Josh, Mark, James, if you were in a spot now, kind of starting out your pro career,
Yes.
and where you would want to go, yes, you would all sign for Liv. Right now, knowing that you might not be able to ever play a Masters. So you're on your way. You're basically at a point where you can go on to any of the tours, so you qualify for all the tours. And then you're going to say, so right now, we don't know whether you're going to next year be able to play in the Open Championship, ever be able to play in the Masters, for instance. You would still go to the Liv.
Hopefully they do a Texas Scramble event and somebody picks me.
Well, on today's performance, a bit of work to do.
They'll get 2 good shots out of me.
Yeah.
So in an 18-hole competition, that's 6 shots. That's valuable.
Yeah.
I think if I knew I was guaranteed to play in the Masters for a few years,
But right now, that's not guaranteed, is it? So right now,
so
you've
then
been
I
offered
would
now,
go
where would
live.
you go?
I'd go live.
You still go Live?
Yeah.
What, even though you don't know?
Yeah. If you don't know, but I'm guaranteed. I know I'm going to get a few mil in the bank with Liv.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Mark, where are you at with this?
Two hats really. I mean, if you're viewing it as it's your job, and you want to take care of your family, like it's consistently been said in all these interviews, I think you can't look past it. You have to go with that, because as you say, in golf, nothing is guaranteed, but this is pretty much a guarantee. Mm-hmm. It's just a completely new way of earning a living through golf for these, especially for the young guys that are coming in. You've got the world number 2 amateur that's just signed, hasn't he? For him, I mean, what a start. And he's probably more the type of guy to be asking that question, wouldn't you? Because in theory, he's a guy that could be playing the next 10 years on all the in the Masters, the majors, etc. So he loses out on the historic sort of stuff like that. But ultimately, he's guaranteed however many millions, and he gets to live a lovely lifestyle. And 2 years down the line, he might get an injury, and all those sort of,
So a bit like the lad that did well this week, which we kind of skittered over and forgot to mention, Michael Bjornsson, who is 20 years old, sophomore at college, and he's played 4 PGA Tour events. He's played in 2 US Opens. One as a 17-year-old, made the cut at, I think it was at Pebble. And then he's played a PGA Tour event since, made the cut. Then he played the US Open just recently that Fitzy has won at the Country Club at Brookline. Made the cut, and then he's played the Travelers Championship this week, and he's
finished 4th, right?
He was right in the mix. He looked like one of the best players down the stretch, right? So he's that guy, and you're thinking, I watched that last round, and you're getting excited about this young lad coming through. You're thinking, every now and again, a player comes through, and you think he could be a major winner. There's a lot of good players coming through. And you think, he could get on tour and he could make a good living, but someone like him, you're thinking, he's had to star. Like you watch him do the interview afterwards, and you're thinking he's ready now. And that doesn't happen very often. That happened with Sergio. That happened with Rory. Adam Scott was like that. He's there. So if you're that lad, are you still going to live? Just going to go? I tell you what, I'll take 100 mil and I'm done.
I think it's a much harder decision to make for someone like that, for sure.
And and then to add to this, which I think some of the players are going to have issues with, is that are they going to be as up for it? Because they've got the money in the bank now, so you're going out, and all of a sudden now it's a job because you've got to do all your media stuff. And I'm getting money anyway, and I'm just wandering around Centurion. I'm 15th. That just has a being. Do you really get up and out of bed to go and be competitive and get the juices flowing?
The thing that motivates me more about it would be if I didn't think that I was really competitive in the PGA Tour field or whatever, 48-man field now, after watching the first event, you always know when you're with your coach that your best week is always good enough, right? But it's the BC and D games. So if you have your best week in a 48-man field, you'll win, and if you win, it's $5 million, right? So
we get some notes here. DP World Tour. And is this an announcement now? Is it? Okay, so a new bit of information. DP World Tour and the PGA Tour have moved to significantly strengthen not only their existing alliance, but have also helped develop players to compete at the pinnacle of men's professional golf by unveiling a groundbreaking new 13-year operational joint venture partnership. James, let's throw it to you because that's a lot of words that you would use in your day-to-day life.
Well,
What are you saying about that?
I think that pretty much makes me Charles Xavier of the X-Men minus the wheelchair. So, because I was like, I telekinetic that information. No, I saw it going in that direction. I think
So
that
from this point forward, you want to know Charles.
Charles. I like that. Charles. Yeah, only Charles, not Charlie, all right? I personally think the way in which...
Chuck.
Yeah, I'll take Chuck. Quite like that. I just saw that happening. Honestly, I thought from... I've said that to you before, haven't you, when we've been chatting about WhatsApps and stuff
What
like
about
that.
Mystic Meg? What about that?
Mystic Meg in the sun. Yeah, exactly.
So 13 years as well, so it's a long
time.
partnership.
Mystic Meg.
He's thinking about it. He
Used to
likes
read
it.
them.
Get out in your golf
I
bag.
walked in on my wife with the postman. What shall I do? Get a divorce. Thanks, Mystic Meg.
I'm not sure I love that announcement. Yeah, I'm just going to go out there and say it. I'm not sure that is a good thing for golf.
Just real quick, even without that, I reckon if I was that Dill Bjornsson lad, I'd right now would be with calling Rory and saying, do you want to go play practice round next week? I'll be on his side. I just think that, I'm not saying I understand why all the guys will everyone that's gone to live, everyone's got their own reasons, not against it, but I just think being that lad, I mean, you're thinking, you know, that all the reasons you play golf, he's going to make plenty of money, he's going to have enough money to do everything he's ever wanted to do. But I just think that at some point, there's going to be a motivating factor. There's an excitement about being a PGA Tour player and
The heritage of the game.
being in the chat for the
what
majors.
you grew up on.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, what all of these cash talks and signing on bonuses, these guys are still playing for life-changing money if they make it on the DP world even. You know, you look at Thomas Piet, he's already earned €2 million this year on the DP World Tour. And the guys on the PGA Tour into the sort of 4, 5, 6, 7 millions this season. So it's still huge amounts of cash, right? If they have a successful run on the circuit. And I think the exciting thing about that, from being someone who grew up watching the European Tour, is I think if I was a Euro Pro player or a Challenge Tour player or someone starting my journey now trying to work my way up, I'd be really excited by that announcement. That's only going to add more money and I think more investment and more and more attention to the affiliate tours that filter into the DP and the PGA. So I think it's good.
So if you're the Bjornsson, where are you going?
I'd stay where I am right
You'll
now.
stay.
I'd turn
Your boys will
pro.
go. So it's a perfect split then. We're in a perfect split of like, we've got Liv versus the rest of the world.
We could have our
So
own Ryder Cup.
We'll have this as a series going
It's
on then.
hard.
Oh, no, he's backing up. He's backing
no,
up.
if you knew the deals, you need to know the deals that have been handed.
You need a deal. I want to do a deal.
You're still Bjornsson. You've got to
Why,
make a
sir?
decision today. What are you saying?
Do a deal, Josh.
What's the deals?
You're going to go and get the big money from the Liv, or you can come to the PGA Tour and going down the route we know.
I'll go live for the dough.
And Mark, still live for the dough?
Well, no, in my, let's say someone of when I was playing, I would go because I know that would be a money grab to make sure that we were okay, my family was okay, etc., etc. Because
And you're a player who was rife with injuries, right? So you know now.
I kind of look, and also I wasn't a prolific player. I wasn't that guy. That I knew pretty early on that.
We're talking about if you're Phil Bjornsson, who's a prolific player. And he's got everything
for him, I would be sticking on the PGA Tour route because I think you're right. I think that I think that he is chasing down records, and there are only a few players. There's 1 or 2 players every decade that come around that are like that. And you like you're saying, he needs the motivation of chasing down the records of the guys that came before him because that's what got him to that point. But I think for the majority of the PGA Tour fields, the DP World Tour fields, Liv is a good option. I will just say on the side, I think that Liv could have had its own place amongst both tours.
Yes, I agree.
And I think the mistake here is that two of the two big boys have come together when they didn't, and to knock out a third player when that didn't need to happen. I don't think. I think they could have all lived together. Pardon the pun. Yeah, sorry. that's where I kind of stand on that overview.
He's going to come back in branded up next time, really.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
So it is, but the other side to it, like I guess like what Josh touched on, is that I do like what Liv are doing in terms of like kind of changing golf. I think the 4-round format is getting a bit boring now, like that.
Stale.
I think you could keep that for majors where that's been, but I think the rest of it does need changing up a little bit. And then the other part, which I do think is wrong at the top of the game, is that you could get to the pinnacle of the game of golf, be part of an A-list sport and be on tour, and you could lose money. It doesn't make any sense that there's so much money at the top that the guy that when you get on tour, say, look, you're here, so you get 100 grand, 150 grand, and then on you go. It just, I think that's what doesn't resonate with me. I can't understand how that's not a thing. Because there's so much money at the other end. I think yeah, you do the making cuts thing. I get all that part of it, but that's the part of golf that needs to change, which I think Liv have done well.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, because it's the only real sport out there that's entirely self-employed.
Yeah, exactly. And then, which then brings in the chat of like, when the tours then fine or ban players, I just think you're kind of taking both sides of the argument here. You're kind of saying you're self-employed, so you've got to get yourself there. And then you're saying, but if you go elsewhere, we're going to fine you like we employ you. I think you can't, I don't think you have both sides of the argument.
Well, they pretty much fined them their, what the minimum amount of what they would have earned from that event was, right?
Yeah,
so they came out of it kind of.
And it seems to be coming out now that's going to be covered by the Liv organisation.
Yeah.
But I think before then what's going to happen is there's going to be a legal battle, and then we'll see where...
I thought that announcement about European Tour with the BMW was like, that's when I thought they are definitely, the PJ have pushed that on them, and then subsequently that announcement, obviously we'll see how that materialises. But interesting.
It has really ramped up, hasn't it? It's been some world-class players signed across. That those fields are getting stronger and stronger. So
they haven't got a top 10 player yet, have they? They haven't got a player in the top 10 yet.
All top 15. Is that right?
I think 19's the top. Is it Brooks is 19, 18?
Yeah, but they got DJ and he's a baller, so
yeah,
he's there, and he's there.
I just want to go fishing more often. That was some interview, wasn't it? Take 9 figures and just talk about fishing. Unbelievable. What's the biggest carp you caught, DJ? We had 9-figure check.
But it'll be interesting to see how the one in the States pans out this week, the second event. We'll see where that goes.
Especially off the back of this news.
Yeah, off the back of this news. So that kind of moves us into our next section. So we're going to kind of wrap it up a little bit, but a couple of things to head on. We're going to introduce a little new section to the show, which is the Heads Gone. Now, this can be Heads Gone from what happened today on the golf course, or it can be what's happened in golf recently. What's anyone got anyone's for us?
Well, my head's just recently gone, isn't it? In our little challenge.
I think that's what we should go to. That's the one.
Yeah.
Just going to go there. We're going to bypass Lexi having a meltdown. We're going to bypass Sahith Tagala, who should have won the PGA Tour event, left and then knifed it into the trap, left it in there.
You got a feel for him, haven't you?
I was only watching that PGA Tour event for him. I was lucky enough to be out in Phoenix and watch him play, and I had a real soft spot for him. I think he's a great guy, really genuine, and I just feel like...
Yeah, he's cool, isn't he? He's really
cool guy.
I'm not sure if this is coming through in the audio, but we've got a bit of 50 Cent blaring out. A bit of background noise.
I think they're having a Southend rally in the car park in Surrey. Yeah? Someone's going to start doing donuts in their Scooby.
I like it.
So we've had a few options. We've got a few options this week. I would have gone for Tagala, but are we just going to head straight to Mark's?
Yeah, because it was like,
Mark's
for such a good player, that was a bad shot.
It was I have no argument.
I've got so many toilet pics on my phone.
Yeah, that was the worrying thing. Yeah.
So for our first kind of on-course vlog, we did a Texas scramble, and then at the end we had a short par 3, 156 yards.
It was less.
138 yards.
It was 136 yards.
136, big win though.
Shorter all the time.
Yeah.
Bit into the breeze, and we had nearest to the pin, and we had whoever the closest got to choose a photo from whoever hits it the furthest away. You get to choose a photo to post on their Instagram.
Yeah.
From their camera roll.
From their
camera roll. And as it turned out, I hit a shot in close, which we're going to see on the film, and Mark talk us through the shot, Mark. Let's.
Well, I was
136 par 3, pin middle of the green, a little bit into the breeze, pretty easy pin.
so James.
Fourth person to go or third person to
No,
go?
I think it was third person to
So
go.
James went
had
first.
gone.
James jumped up first and was
Seized
like,
the
tell you what,
moment.
while everyone's chatting, no one's looking, he's going to get up and hit his shot so he didn't get bantered. He had a lovely
Hit a little 20-footer. I was happy with that.
20 feet.
Yeah, it was 20. It was 8 paces.
Oh, was it?
So
Big paces. big paces.
yeah.
Strides.
Striding. No, it was a good shot. Had plenty of swooping left to right, as if you know James. And we took a part of our diversity boxes. We've got a left-hander in it, so it swung in left right, big old draw
I bet that's racist.
came in. We're including you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's on the green. That's great. So he got it in there. Then did I go next?
You went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you
Then
stiffed it to be. I thought it was in actually.
yeah. Then I just I
How
got
close
in.
was it?
It was close enough. It was a gimme. It was a
Yeah,
gimme.
it was a couple of feet.
It was a pick it up job, which I was really pleased with. And then Mark then stepped up to the plate.
Yeah. Already before you'd hit both of your shots, I was in between clubs, and the breeze
And
dropped.
what was the club? I hit knockdown 8 times.
Yeah, so I had that in my hand.
I hit 8.
Yeah, I had that in my hand.
20 feet.
20 feet.
And the wind
Big
dropped
paces.
slightly, so then I was like, "Oh God, do I go down and hit it firm?"
So you've had an indecision. So how are you feeling before you go and hit the shot? Are you feeling nervous?
I'm aware of the situation that I'm in now.
Okay. I was nervous. I was nervous hitting that shot. I had to really knuckle down.
Really?
Oh yeah, of course I was. Yeah.
I was all right because I don't have Instagram, so I was like, yeah, all right, I'll just step up, and you'll all work it out afterwards.
Yeah, so I was aware of the situation that I found myself in, and the fact that I haven't really had many reps to rely on at that point. I was feeling pretty
Probably
vulnerable.
played the least golf out of all of us.
Yeah, I would say so. So feeling pretty vulnerable about my position, and I just hadn't made the right decision, and I almost knew it before I pulled the trigger, and then the shot that followed really.
As you were taking it away, were you thinking this is not the right decision? On the backside?
No, as I was taking it away, I was like, "This is."
Why isn't Caddy Mark telling me to stop?
Oh yeah, basically. As I took the club away, I was like, "Yeah, this club is nowhere near where it needs to be," and then it just. Yeah.
Was there any hosel involved in
No
that shot?
hosel.
No,
No.
no.
It was just a
Fans.
total decel.
Just
the
fans
club,
to the right.
Yeah, the club was miles behind me, and I just body didn't come through, and that
Just
was
a
it.
bit floaty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a guff shot.
It come down short, so there's bunks on the right, went
Guffington.
right to the trap.
Ages.
Yeah,
What? We say guff all the time, Zed.
I've started to bring
That's
it back
James'
in.
word. Yeah. That's definitely James' word.
So yeah, in fairness to me,
It
it
travelled
was,
about 128 yards to the right.
yeah,
right at the
firm
traps.
ground, so
Yeah.
it bumbled up to pin
Yeah.
high.
Mega chip, by the way.
And I offered up the scenario of, look, if I chip this in, can I get myself out of trouble? And
Funny there was no takers.
no takers.
Had a proper look as well, didn't
He
it?
had a proper look, and I did actually make par. So I feel like I salvaged something from the situation, but
Yeah.
I still am the loser in
And
today's
then
challenge.
Josh stepped up and you were quite comfortable at that point.
He hit a
Just had
bladey
to hit the
draw.
green.
We
Bladey
tried to
draw.
throw some shade in your direction, but
Bladey
it
draw.
didn't work.
Lady draw.
Have a nibble on that.
Wow.
Jump.
Yeah, jump. Fucking hell.
So that takes us
Been fishing with DJ, yes.
to where we are now, which is I'm going to choose a picture from your camera roll to post on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Um,
The only thing I have, I think, in my favour is that you might just get bored because there are so many pictures of the house renovation on there.
Best thing to
That-
do though is scroll all the way back to the start, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
everyone who's had an iPhone,
What,
has got like
2008?
photos from like 2011.
In liquid
There'll
stuff
definitely be
Do you know
something
what?
with his big
One of
curly
the-
hair.
One
Like,
of the first pictures is the R2 cars back in the two
Really?
Subarus. Yeah.
right then, let's get it out. Have it.
I hope there's a DJ picture from
I'm pretty sure
Hounslow.
that's what one of the first pictures is.
So it's going to go in your story
You can have
today,
it at some point. Yeah.
and then we will repost it onto the Bear Tiger Instagram feed. I got some nice pictures on the bike.
Yeah.
Straight on his Tinder or Grinder, whichever one you like.
He's a married
Both.
man. He doesn't do that sort of stuff.
Both.
Binder.
What else we got here on the bike?
You're like Renault.
Bike.
Renault.
Bit of artwork. Golf
Lots of-
course. There's a
Yeah.
credit card there. That could be a good one.
Oh yeah, that could be dreadful actually. Although fortunately, I think that one has expired.
Fortunately, you can't do front and back. No one
Yeah.
would ever save that in there. Imagine doing a layout, you do front and back in one
Although
image.
recently, my debit card, Royal Bank of Scotland, they've got.
Oh,
it
you
all
got
on
the
back
three
of
digits on the
card.
back as well.
Yeah, you got
Ah.
everything on the back of the card, which I find odd.
Okay.
Anyway,
We're deep in here. Oh, there's a picture of you and Gary
Deep
Player
in.
here.
yeah. There's a picture of me and Getty.
deep into his phone.
Yeah, there's one.
Oh my!
The one there.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's right. Is that the one?
Yes, that's the one.
That's
You're
it,
not
isn't it?
beating that. That's the one.
That was it.
I
I
mean,
tried
I'm-
to start
I'm
the
quite-
Joe Wicks. That picture is when I tried to start the Joe Wicks thing, where you take a picture every week.
I'm
Yeah, and
quite
you're
a
doing
nice
the
guy.
food plan.
I do feel bad for it, but I think that's
I'll tell
going to
you
be.
what, I'd take that. I'd take that right now.
Oh,
That means there's plenty in there. Mate, where's these toilet pics? I think he's doing Rate My Poo or something in lockdown.
Well, to be honest, most of them are BBs.
A lot of car pictures.
Actually, most of them. I should say all of them.
Lots
Can
of
you
car
imagine?
pictures.
Like-
Pictures of your lovely wife.
Oh, that's dreadful, isn't it? That is a thing as well when you've got kids,
100%
and
it
you
is.
like you say I'm having a
It's a
shit
BB.
day. You send a picture of your baby's nappy
Front
to your
or back?
wife who's out shopping.
Oh, I've got.
This is what I'm dealing
Front.
with.
they've got to be front.
Front.
How's
Just
Karen
because you know
Miller?
what, I really like this picture, and we will obviously everyone will see it because it really captures Mark in his white pants.
In great
You can-
shape.
You can see his old boy, and then just the big hair. And that's almost everything that he's about.
On his head.
Yeah, that is. Please post that to your story.
I will never lose another challenge again.
Please post that to your story and forward it to us to post on the
I've got a
Bear
fair bit of
Tiger.
scoliosis going on there as well, actually.
Scoliosis.
Anyway,
There we go.
There we go.
Going to post that
no, do you want me to post it now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
live.
What do we have
Live
to do? Like
postage.
a I lost the par 3 challenge, like
Screenshot it.
It's almost just funny just post a random picture like that. He's got to deal with all the backlash. And what have you posted that for?
Let's post it. I'll post it while if you're.
oh right, so there's no comment. No, just
Are you going
take.
to do the caption?
I'm going to do the caption for the Bear Tiger. Yeah,
The Bear Tiger.
yeah. Because that's going to have to be explained. Otherwise, we'd just start up a new project and we'd just post some geezers in their pants.
Yeah. Where is it?
Like it.
There's one there.
Good
There we
work.
go. There it is.
There it is.
I look like a
Help me out.
convict.
There we go. So Josh is just
Josh is
zooming in.
cropping. Yeah. Next. No filter or leave it? Is it?
No
No,
filter.
no filter.
Is that
Okay,
is that?
That could be
that's
the
a-
caption.
What's the caption?
That's a post.
No
that's
filter.
Not, that's not even a story. You're making that a post.
I thought it was a story.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was a post.
You want to do a post?
I don't
That is
really wanna do a
brutal.
post.
I thought it was a post.
Story. Okay, we're storying it. We've been
The
told.
best thing about this, Mark, is that now we've played this game for the first time, we can all go home and spend about 8 hours on our camera rolls as well. So,
Deleting.
yeah.
So he's just working through now.
Oh, you've only got
Just
photos
going
of
to-
your son in a Superman outfit on your phone. It's dreadful.
He's got all the way back to the beginning. That was all the way at the front.
Oh, God, this is painful. Why don't you screenshot it, save it to the latest camera roll?
Honestly, that would probably take me longer.
There she
There you
is.
go.
Oh, he's even got the back to match. You could do a layout.
That works.
That works.
that's cool.
Okay. No comment, just
Cool.
straight on your story.
There we go.
It's done.
It's done. Well done, Mark. Little.
Oh, good.
That's
I'm
done.
game. I'm game. You've got to be in it to win it, haven't you?
That's
So-
proper.
There will be some comeback.
That's
There will
proper
be some
white
comeback.
breeze and Cumberland there. That's all right as well.
There's going to be one.
You can't zoom on a story, can you?
No, but you can screenshot and zoom in.
Oh,
That's what I'll do.
Here we
you could have
go.
left that, James. You could have left
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
secret Instagram account. that you're
Chipolata
talking
to Cumberland.
Yeah.
There you go. Get on that.
There you
I,
go.
thought you didn't have Instagram.
Oh, I've got a couple of secret nudges, haven't I?
Of course, yes. Little stalker. Yeah, that's probably an honourable mention is going to be. I'm going to post a small video later to Instagram, which James will see from his secret Instagram account.
Only if you
And it's
post
called-
it.
and
Because
it's called. I'm gonna post it.
'cause
and that'll
Nicole
go
follows you.
on the Heads Gone, and yeah, Nicole can report back.
she'll report.
Here we go. Well, that's been a lot of fun, guys, chatting about many different subjects. Lots of good points, lots of fun points, and I look forward to doing it all again very, very soon.